Hello everyone, welcome to Deacon's NFL Talk. I'm your host Deacon. Welcome back to another episode on the channel. Today, this week, we might actually have a smaller episode this week. This week we have 3 NFL topics to get to. In the first one, I guess I should say all of the topics are going to be long ones to talk about. We're going to be talking about those for a while. We have 7 quick hits to get to, so I should be able to beat the timer for the second straight week in a row. After that, we have a lot of signings this week. No cuts this week, actually. That I know of as of late, unless we get some ones that just pop up. We have one reaction to get into, and this one is actually a pretty big reaction and could be a signing that could be decided very, very shortly. Most of you might know what I'm talking about. Then we have a quiz and then one question of the week. That will sum up the episode 51 on Deacon's NFL Talk. All right, everyone, we're going to jump right into this week. Not this week, we're going to jump in right into this episode. So, to start off, we are going to start off with the main topic like we've been doing the past month or so. We're starting off with the Raiders agreeing to a 2-year, $75 million extension with Geno Smith. The deal is worth up to $85.5 million. This is something that doesn't really come as a surprise. I believe Pete Carroll said earlier this week that they're working on an extension and all that. And really, even like right as the trade happened from Seattle, everyone was like agreeing that they were going to sign him into a deal. And here we are, a month or so later. I can't remember when it was. And Geno Smith has officially signed a new deal. Smith was traded from the Seahawks recently and gets a deal with $65.5 million guaranteed. I mean, really, though, the reason that Smith left the Seahawks really is because the money was reportedly an issue. I guess the Seahawks were about $10 million off in extension discussions. So then they ultimately decided to trade Geno Smith and found Sam Darnold in free agency as their new successor for Smith. So we'll see how he does in Seattle. And really, like I said, this does not come as a surprise that the Raiders are going to be doing this, because really, this not only does this change like a lot for the Raiders, like in free agency, it really did, but it also changes some of their plans for the Raiders draft as well. I mean, now the Raiders going from potentially trading up in the draft to now a big favorite to drafting Ashton Genty as well. So we'll see how it affects their draft. But, Smith was entering the final year of a 3-year, $75 million deal that he signed in Seattle. So, deserves a lot more money. He actually made 2 Pro Bowls in his 11-year career in 2022 and 2023. So, there's no question about what he can be, what he's playing at his full potential for sure. And, obviously, Pete Carroll is the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, so there is some connection between him and Geno Smith. So really, a really logical move there by the Raiders. And he's locked up for 2 more years, so we'll see who Smith's successor will be, whether that is a quarterback in this year's draft or next year's. Who knows? It used to be like Shedeur Sanders, like heavy favorite to be the Raiders quarterback, but now that they have Geno Smith, I feel like that's really going to change. But we'll see where the Raiders are and who Smith's successor will be. I have a feeling it'll be in next year's draft is where they'll find their quarterback. There was also some rumors before Geno Smith came to the Raiders that Sam Darnold was a heavy, when I say heavy, I mean a heavy favorite to join the Raiders. And Geno Smith wasn't really talked about as a quarterback that was going to leave his team and go to the Raiders. But this makes 100% sense that he would leave the team and join Pete Carroll again, and also makes a lot of sense that he signed a new deal. But yes, the deal is worth up to $85.5 million, so really good deal for Geno Smith. And honestly, I cannot wait to see him hopefully produce more Pro Bowl years, because the only Pro Bowls that he's had was with Pete Carroll. So obviously you can tell that Pete Carroll can get the most out of him when he is the head coach. But we're going to go on to the next topic. we're going to go overview some of these new NFL rules that the NFL just approved of. These were rule proposals and some that the NFL was mulling over the offseason and throughout the season, because there's obviously there's some rules that needed to be changed, and some of them they did. So the NFL, but before we get to all of that, the NFL is pushing out the decision on the tush push to May after votes were tied 16-16 out of a needed 24 to pass through. So I don't know why they're I guess the word table. I don't know why they're tabling this out further when technically the tush push should still, like, the tush push shouldn't be banned, because I mean they didn't reach 24. I mean, sure, they tied, but they didn't get the needed amount. So I mean, in my opinion, I think that should just be an automatic, like, pass. Like, they should pass this through. The tush push is not banned. That's just my opinion. But yeah, they need, in order for this whole thing to pass through the tush push and whatever, they need 8 NFL teams to change their mind about it. And yeah, the Eagles are really hoping that it doesn't get banned. Honestly, I really don't have a take on it. Like, I really don't care whatsoever. Really, I feel like this is just a bunch of NFL teams saying, yeah, we're jealous of the Eagles. They do it better than everyone else. We don't like it. The only reason that NFL teams would not ban this is if they knew how to execute it like the Eagles do. And the Eagles execute it better than anybody, which is why I think a bunch of NFL teams are complaining about this. But yeah, just wanted to get that in before we get to the rule changes. The number one, I believe there's 6 that have been changed or added. Just 6 different rule changes. Number 1 is the NFL is converting postseason overtime rules to the regular season, which is something that needed to happen last year, in my opinion. I mean, now regular season overtime rules will be 15 minutes long, and each team gets a guaranteed possession, unlike the past few years where if you got the ball first and you scored a touchdown, basically whoever scores a touchdown first wins. That's basically how it works. So, but to get So that's the short list of how a team can win in overtime last year. But last year, if you got the ball first and you scored a touchdown, game over. You win. If you got the ball first and kicked a field goal, overtime keeps going. And really after that, its next score wins unless another field goal is kicked and the game is tied. So this year, in case you guys don't know about the overtime rules, this year they're doing, like, let's say, I don't know, I'll just pick 2 random teams. Let's say, I don't know, the Texans and the Commanders are in a game, okay? Let's say the game goes into overtime, and the Texans, the coin flip goes in their favor. They can either receive or defer the ball. Like, let's say the Texans, let's say they receive, all right? The Texans get the ball to start overtime. They don't have to receive. They don't have to. If they want to, like in this demonstration, they will. The Texans receive, they get the ball, and the Texans go score a touchdown. All right, they're up 7 now with the extra point. The Commanders now get a chance to tie the game. Now, if they don't tie the game, they get stopped or something like that. They don't score a touchdown. The Texans win. So basically, it's kind of like college football overtime, but it just really doesn't keep on going. It's not exactly like it, but it's similar. It's second chance points pretty much. So like if a team were to receive or a team that gets the ball scores a touchdown, the team that did not get the ball to start overtime gets a chance to tie the game. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. I'm sure there's a better explanation, but that's just some of it. I summed it up for you guys there just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this is something that needed to happen last year, like I said. And yeah, I mean, like we saw in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, or like the Kansas City Chiefs and the 49ers, we saw that the 49ers did not really know that the postseason rules were changed for overtime, so they received, and the Chiefs went on to win the game eventually. So yeah, it really just allows the team that does not get the ball first to know what they have to do to win the game. Unless you're the team that gets the ball first, you're kind of like, do I want to go for this 4th and long and potentially win this game, or want to play it safe and kick a field goal and letting the other team know that they have to get a touchdown to win? So yeah, I mean, you don't have to score a touchdown the first drive or the second drive. I mean, unless the other team before scored a touchdown. But yeah, So, yeah, I think there's something that need to happen. But, yeah, it's a good thing that they actually changed this. We're going to go on to the second rule change. Kickoff touchbacks will now be moved to the 35-yard line. So, this is risky. As, like, I'm not really a huge fan of this, to be honest. Like, this is just getting wild at this point. Why don't we just go back to the old kickoff? I mean, they're so high on player safety, and it is kind of annoying at times. Like, back then, we had guys like Ray Lewis and Brian Dawkins and all these guys. Brian or Dion, I can't remember. But we had these big hitters and big hits in football. Some of them resulted in penalties, some didn't. And now it's just all soft. Like, it's just so soft now. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't want players to be safe, and I'm not saying that I want players to have career-ending injuries or ones that affect their lifestyle or anything like that. But I just want to see football. I don't want to see flag football. I want to see football. And really, honestly, I'm not really a huge fan of this one. Like, if I had to pick between these two, I would have picked no on this. But at the end of the day, I really don't care. But yes, kickoff touchbacks will now be at the will be placed at the 35-yard line if the ball is kicked into the end zone. So, I mean, I guess the goal is to limit touchbacks, which we saw a lot of last year because of the dynamic kickoff and because it was projected to see a lot of kickoff returns and a lot more touchdowns, which we did. We saw a lot of touchdowns on kickoffs last year, which was a good sign to kind of, kind of like make the kickoff alive again, like make it a part of the game again. And we saw that a good amount last year. We also saw a lot of touchbacks last year, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, honestly, I think this will actually help. I think I just don't really like. We're just like kind of. It just feels like we're piling a whole bunch of stuff like into one rule, and it's not that big of a deal. I really just think we should go back to the classic kickoff. That's what I like to call it. But yeah, there was also a proposal that would allow the losing team to attempt onside kicks at any point in the game. So yeah, I mean, that was just, I guess, an idea. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they might have tabled it, actually. So who knows? We'll see, I guess. But yeah, I mean, honestly, not a big fan of this one. That's just my take on it. I don't know what you guys think about it. Let me know in the comments. We're going to go into the third rule change, and that is replay assist will be available for 5 more penalties. The 5 new penalties can be booth reviewed. The penalties include hitting a defenseless player, face mask, horse collar, tripping, and roughing the kicker. So those are the 5 new penalties that are reviewable. So, I mean, I agree with face mask. A horse collar, yes. Tripping, yes, kind of. Roughing the kicker, yes. Really, they all make sense, but just like the fact that the game's going to be like 5 hours longer now is what makes it annoying. Like, yes, it does help the game and it helps make things fair. I mean, now they can fix like controversial calls in the game, blah blah blah. But like, the NFL has such a bad habit of taking so much time to get the calls perfectly right, which I don't have a problem with. But when you take 5 hours, not literally, but I'm just being dramatic, when you take so long to get a simple call right, it just makes the game much longer, and that's something I don't really enjoy. Like, I don't want them to be as short as possible. I mean, I don't really have anything against long games, but it just doesn't make sense for an NFL game to be played over 5 hours or even 6 hours, I guess. But yeah, that's not the only thing that they're gonna have for penalties and all that. We'll get to that in a bit. I'll explain that a little bit more. But this rule allows referees to pick up a flag that was thrown after review, but they cannot throw the flag after review. So basically, if they were to throw a flag on, let's say, a face mask, if they were to throw a flag on a face mask and they looked at the review and they saw that there was no face mask, they can pick that flag up and say it was a clean play, no flag. Now let's say that there was a face mask that they missed, and they don't throw a flag. They look at it on review, and they see that it was a face mask. They cannot throw a flag after that. They can't throw a flag on something that they saw after a replay, if that makes any sense to you guys. I try to sum it up as much as possible to make it make sense. But yeah, I mean, it's good for the fairness of the game. It's just not good for the length of the game, I should say. All right, number 4, the NFL will now have a 21-day notice to flex a game to Thursday night. This really isn't something super huge. I couldn't care less, to be honest. So really not much to talk about this one, but it used to be a 28-day notice to flex a game to Thursday night. Now it's 21. Not really something NFL fans really care about, but it is something pretty big if you're like involved in the NFL and everything. We're going to go on to number 5. Teams can now wear alternate / throwback uniforms 4 times per year. Teams can also now wear alternate pants in the playoffs. So, yeah, really something that it is pretty cool. I mean, it's something that the fans can really engage in. It is cool. I like alternate uniforms like the Eagles, the Broncos, the Bengals whiteouts, the Seahawks the Seahawks throwbacks. There's a lot of nice throwback uniforms in the NFL. And a lot of alternate as well. So, I mean, this will be cool to see him one more time. Well, I guess because teams don't really normally show their alternates 3 times a year. I mean, take the Bengals, for instance. They do white Bengals 2 times a year. So now we'll see. Maybe they'll up that up to 3 times. Maybe they'll even go to the max 4 times. So we'll see. I think alternate uniforms and throwback uniforms, I would love to see them more. But, yeah, honestly, like I said, kind of like the last rule change about the Thursday night one, I really don't care about this one, to be honest. I'd prefer to see rules that changes the game and the outcome of the game, not really uniforms, to be honest. I mean, it's cool. I like it. I like that we could see more alternate and throwback uniforms, but at the end of the day, I really don't have a take on it. But I also saw that you can now wear alternate helmets with the regular season uniform, which to me doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, can you imagine the Bengals wearing a white helmet with all black, like a black jersey and black pants? Like, I mean, I guess if you really think about it, it could look cool in a way, but it just, I don't know if any teams will use that. We'll see if there's any team, or the first team that will do that. I just don't really see it. I don't see how it can work. It's a cool idea and everything. I mean, maybe if you're doing like a Madden thing and you're customizing uniforms and everything, that's cool, but I don't know about in a game. That's different, but we'll see if any team used that. I just don't really see how that makes a lot of sense. It really wouldn't match, in my opinion. We're going to go on to the last one. Rule number 6, first downs will now be electronically measured. So this is something that has been talked about last year as well. I'm not sure about like NFL owners' standpoint, but talked about by fans last year. I know about that. This is something that needed to happen. If you guys don't watch the UFL every now and then, which I did last year, and it's coming up this year as well. But if you didn't watch the UFL, it's actually really fascinating, like how they can measure that, and soccer does that as well. Like they measure offside penalties. The UFL does first down measures as well, and it's really cool. I mean, the UFL does a lot of things that would be really cool in the NFL, but really the NFL is no fun league anyway. But yes, they will now start using Sony's Hawkeye technology. It will be used during games. I'm assuming that they will test this in a preseason game. That's just what I assume, because it wouldn't really make a lot of sense just to start in the regular season. I'm assuming they haven't really came out and said this. I'm just assuming that they will do this in the preseason to start. And yes, the chain gang is not going extinct, but they will be on the field as the backup plan if all else fails, which makes sense. I wouldn't say kick them out yet. I mean, a lot of people are going to be losing their jobs now. But I would say they're a good backup plan because who knows, technology can do some pretty strange things sometimes. So yeah, a good backup plan, but I cannot wait to see how this turns out. This is something that really, really needed to happen. I think it will make the game go a lot quicker. Instead of having to put the chains on the field. Like, anytime the chains are on the field for a close first down call, it's always short. It always appears to be short, so I think this will be good for the game. I think I would have approved. If I was an NFL owner, I would have approved of this. But yeah, the 3 rules that have been tabled are the tush push, playoff seeding, and the onside kick. Tush push, like I just talked about. The onside kick, I just talked about. Playoff seeding, I talked about a few weeks ago. I guess the Lions proposed that they would remove the division winner seeding thing, so just be records. So teams would get their seeding off of their record. But yeah, honestly, I don't really have a take on that. If I had to vote on one, I would probably say no. I kind of like how it is right now, where you win your division and you're in. There was a little bit of controversy last year when the Vikings had a 5 seed with a 14-3 record, which makes sense. It's a good argument, but you got to win your division to earn it, in my opinion. We're going to go on to the last topic. We spent a lot of time on that one. The Cardinals make Trey McBride the NFL's highest paid tight end in NFL history. He signed a 4-year, $76 million extension that includes $43 million guaranteed. This makes a lot of sense for the Cardinals. I mean, you get Kyler Murray's number one weapon back and one of the best tight ends in the league. Last year, he actually had a down year touchdowns-wise. I mean, he registered 111 catches for 1,146 yards and just 2 touchdowns last year. He was one of the best players with 5 touchdowns or less. So I expect him to see him in the end zone a lot more this season. But McBride becomes the NFL's highest paid tight end in NFL history based off average annual value, which is $19 million per year, and guaranteed money, which is $43 million per year. So passes Travis Kelce, passes T.J. Hawkinson, I saw. So yeah, he's a young tight end. He has a high upside. He's really, really good. If you haven't watched him play, go watch him. But yeah, I guess he was like fourth in NFL history with the most catches by a tight end. I don't know if I got that right or not. He was fourth in, I think, catches. I don't know if it was, I think it was all time. And I'm pretty sure he had second most receiving yards by a Cardinal. I can't quite remember. I know he was fourth in either catches or yards in NFL history. It was one of those two. I believe it was catches, but don't quote me on that. He was set to enter the final year of his rookie contract deal, but will now remain in the desert through 2029. Yeah, get Kyler Murray's number one weapon back and for the foreseeable future, and let's build around him as well. Get a guy in the draft like a Mecca or Luther Burden. Would not be shocked if that happened whatsoever. Would be kind of a reach, but wouldn't be shocked whatsoever. We're going to go on to quick hits. That was all for NFL news. We just had 2 topics this week, so really nothing much at all. But yeah, we're going to go on to quick hits. If I don't name all these quick hits off before the timer is up, I'd be pretty shocked and upset with myself as well. So yes, 2-minute timer will be pulled up. I'm going to take a drink before my mouth goes dry again. But yes, 7 quick hits. Last week we had 5, so we have 2 more this week. And last week I blew it out of the water and smoked the timer by like 30 seconds. I actually took my time on the last one, so it could have been by a minute. We'll see if I can do it here. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel expects Christian Barmore to be ready for the offseason program. Barmore dealt with blood clots last offseason and played very little in 2024. Barmore missed 10 games before playing in 4 and was eventually sidelined again after reoccurring symptoms. In 2024, he recorded 6 tackles and 1 sack. Richard Sherman, a victim of an armed robbery at his home. Athletes' homes being burglarized has been a recurring theme in recent months. Take Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Joe Burrow, and other NFL players, and even NBA players, for instance. The incident happened on Sherman's 37th birthday. That's fitting. Stanford hires ex-NFL coach Frank Reich as interim head coach. Reich was head coach for the Colts and Panthers. Reich joined Stanford GM Andrew Luck, who was coached by Reich in Indianapolis in 2018. Stanford has finished with a 3-9 record the last 2 years. Bill Parcells is to be inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. He spent 4 years coaching the Patriots from 1993 to 1996. Calais Campbell returns to the Cardinals for his 18th season in the NFL. Campbell signed a 1-year, $5.5 million deal worth up to $9.5 million. Campbell, who was drafted in 2008 by the Cardinals, has 110.5 career sacks, and Campbell thought about retirement and will likely contemplate it again next year. Patriots trade quarterback Joe Milton III to the Cowboys. The Cowboys will also receive a 2025 7th-round pick along with Milton, while the Patriots receive a 2025 5th-round pick. In Milton's first regular season game, which was Week 18, he went 22 for 29 for 241 yards, two total touchdowns, and a fumble, and a win against the Bills. Milton will sit behind Dak Prescott, becoming Dallas's QB2. Bengals could leave Cincinnati after 2025. The Bengals' lease at Paycor Stadium ends June 30th, 2026. The Bengals have less than 90 days to figure something out, and Bengals executive Katie Blackburn says they're aware about the possibility of moving. That is all. We finished. We beat the timer by 11 seconds. That's good news for me. But yes, the Bengals are apparently could leave Cincinnati. I don't know if it's confirmed. I guess I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't, because Cincinnati's making so much money because of the Reds and the Bengals. I don't see it happening. I mean, if so, where would they move? Like, would they stay in Ohio or would they go elsewhere? Like, if they were to go out of state, like, where on earth would they go? Like, I'm trying to think. Where, like, you wouldn't want to see the Cleveland Bengals. That wouldn't work. You already have the Browns. Indiana Bengals. Kentucky oh, that's terrifying. Kentucky Bengals. How about no? Oh man, you could go a lot of different directions if you move, but I really hope this is not going to happen. It sounds like it was a threat, so I don't think it's going to happen, and there's a lot of optimism about that it won't happen. So as a Bengals fan, please don't happen. We already have a bunch of contract drama with Trey Hendrickson, and now we're reportedly having some with Hamilton County or whatever. So who knows what's going to happen. Before we go on to signings, no cuts actually. Before we go into signings, we're going to see if there's any more NFL news. Not really anything that I'm seeing right now. I guess people are skeptical that the NFL might actually make an 18-game schedule. That honestly would not be shocked if it happened. Roger Goodell cares so much about player safety, yet he adds even more games, and it's even harder on NFL players. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I want to be mad to see more NFL games, but like Joe Burrow brought up last year, like December, they should have like a Pro Bowl break, kind of what the MLB does. Have an all-star break where not everyone is going to participate in that stuff. So, I mean, you kind of give everyone a break, a much-needed break, where every team kind of gets a bye week. I think that's a very smart idea, but outside of that, not really anything. So we're going to go on to signings. All right, the Bills signed punter Brad Robbins, former Bengal, garbage. Saints signed offensive lineman Dylan Radunes. Giants signed running back Ty Summers. Raiders signed linebacker Devin White. Broncos signed quarterback Sam Ellinger. Chargers signed tight end Jordan Petaye. And DB Tony Jefferson. Jets signed guard Xavier Newman-Johnson. Eagles signed offensive lineman Matt Pryor. Panthers signed running back Raheem Blackshear. Browns signed running back DeAndre Carter. Titans signed defensive back Justin Hardy. Cardinals signed offensive lineman Jake Curran. Chiefs signed safety Mike Edwards. Commanders signed defensive end TJ Magyar Anga. Not sure how you pronounce that last name. Bears signed wide receiver Miles Boykin and defensive back Sean Wade. That is all for signings. No cuts. Before we go, though, we are going to see if we have any more signings or potentially cuts. The Chiefs signed defensive end Janarius Robinson. And the Steelers, no, just a couple of visits. So outside of that, nothing. So we're going to go under reactions, all right? I'm going to pull this one up. Aaron Rodgers, I guess, had a throwing session with DK Metcalf. I think it was, it's in Los Angeles because I see a UCLA field goal post in the background. So I guess he's getting the feel of everything that would happen in Pittsburgh. And I guess Steelers GM said, somebody said it for the Steelers, Art Rooney said that things are trending in the right direction, that Aaron Rodgers will be a Steeler. So we will see. I'll play this video right here. Let me know what you guys think of this. I'm going to play it right here. Honestly, I really don't know. There was no really audio about that, but I just thought you guys would prefer to watch that instead of hearing my voice. But, I mean, can I see a world where Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers? Yes, 1,000%. I mean, he's going to go somewhere. At some point, he's going to go somewhere. He's not going to stay in free agency forever. I don't think he's going to be in free agency that long. Much longer, I should say. I do see this happening, but I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers went with Shedeur Sanders if he fell in the draft in the first round. I mean, I've seen some things where Jackson Dart is also linked to the Steelers in the draft. Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be a one-year wonder for the Steelers. If he signs like a 4-year deal, 4 to 3 year deal, that's absurd. If he signs a 1 to 2 year deal, that's reasonable. I would not be shocked if he did. If he's not going to sign with the Steelers, where's he going to go? Minnesota? They said they don't want him. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they actually did end up getting him again. But I mean, outside of the Vikings, the Browns, I don't know. I mean, outside of the Steelers right now, I don't see another team that's willing and wants to sign Russell Wilson. I mean, as a bridge quarterback, obviously. But we're going to go on to the quiz. How many teams have red in their logo? 18 of you answered, and guess what? 28% of you got the one right, which is not enough. I did it again. How many weeks in a row? 1, 2. I'm going 3 in a row. I'm going for the 3-peat, guys. All right, 12. It was 12, 14, 13, or 11. 13 was the correct answer. 28% of you got that right. 33% had 14, which makes sense. But there are 13 teams in the NFL that have red in their logo. The Bills, Patriots, Chiefs, Ravens, Steelers, Texans, Titans, Commanders, Giants, Cardinals, 49ers, Buccaneers, and Falcons. I don't have enough fingers. 13 was the correct answer. 14, I can 100% see you guys guessing that. But yes, 2 weeks in a row. Last week was honestly similar voting as well. I mean, very, very similar. So you guys are close, but not close enough. You don't get an award for being close enough. You get the award for being right. So, with that being said, we're going to go on to the question of the week. This is something that's not only a question of the week in this week's episode, but a question around the NFL. Sorry about that, my mouth is getting dry. Should the NFL... it's very dry. Should the NFL ban the tush push? If I was Roger Goodell or a team in the NFL, no. Like, I'm not banning the tush push. Like, why? What's the purpose in it? No, 72%. Yes, 28%. For those of you that are in yes, you're probably a team that is not the Eagles and a team that complains that they executed better than everybody. You're probably an Eagles hater. I don't really like the Eagles either. But, like, they executed better than anyone in the league, and you're whining about it. It just doesn't make sense at all. It really does not make any sense to me whatsoever. The Eagles are better at it than anybody else in the league right now. The Packers were the first team to come out and publicly say it. So, yeah, I believe the Packers were jealous because they played him in the wild card, and they just kept dominating him through it. So, yeah, no is the right answer. I think it might actually get banned. If it does, I really don't care, to be honest. Like, if I was an Eagles fan, I'd probably care. But since I'm really not, I really don't have... I prefer it to stay, to be honest, even though I really don't have a take on it. But, yeah. Anyway, that is this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed. Hit the like, the subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified for every single upload this channel makes. 2 weeks ago's episode, since we didn't have one last week, I talked about the Bengals signing Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to long-term deals. It's a long one. All right, the last 3 episodes have been 40 minutes plus. This week is a lot shorter for the first time in forever. For the first time, actually, since episode 45. So, it's been a while. Man, my voice, I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'm coughing like crazy, so I might as well get out of here. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week for another great episode on Deacon's NFL Talk.